So now that we have a broad idea of what the UI is going to look like for our admin page, what we really want to do is link those fields to our database and make sure that the database in its initial state has everything that we need for the basic management of the videos. As we keep building, we might alter our database, but we want to be kind of preemptive in what we might need. So now that we do have our basic UI set up, what we want to do is to create the migration for our videos table. And this migration is not going to be probably the complete new schema for videos, but now that we have the UI, we kind of know what we expect our video structure to look like. So let's go into the server folder, database, and then schema. And then in the schema, we'll create a new SQLite table, and we'll call this videos because that's what they are. So we'll create a SQLite table called videos, and then videos will have an ID, which is just an auto incrementing integer. And again, as mentioned in the earlier videos, you might want to make this some sort of short ID or a UUID. But in this case, I think it's fine if we just do ID. And then video will also have a link to user ID, which is not null, but also it needs to reference in order to set up that database relation. It's going to reference the users.id table column. That would set up our foreign sort of relation to it, foreign key. And then we just need our basic created at, updated at stuff as well, so that we have some metadata. And then over here is where we'll define the meat and potatoes of our table. So now we just basically need to map what we have to find in our UI in the admin page, which is the creator that we have. Now we need a title, category, visibility, status, and also we have the description. So let's just add all those. So we'll have the title, which is going to be just a text column. We'll have the description, which is also just the text column. And we have the visibility. Well, let's add the category first, which is just going to be a text column for now, but I'm going to add a make categories table question mark. And the reason I'm just making it a comment is because at this moment, just having a fixed category on your video will make handling the data much easier than having to fetch the relations and stuff when we actually know the structure of our table pretty well. So we'll do the thumbnail as well, which is going to be a text. So it might be better to say something like thumbnail URL so that we aren't confused with what this is. And that's something now that we'll have to update in our UI, but that's fine. Visibility is a kind of a different one. So we'll do a text visibility. All of this looks correct. And we'll do, as you can see, this built-in sort of type thing from Drizzle, which mentioned before, it's not an actual type that is saved to our database, but it's just a type that Drizzle will now tell us that this is all we expect in this one, because SQLite doesn't really have enums or database level checks to make sure that the string matches some sort of shape. So we have public and we have premium, and this is also not null. And we can actually set a default on this one. Let's wrap this down a little bit. I like using default function instead. It's going to be not public, it's going to be premium. The reason I make it premium is because our UI also does that, where it just automatically adds the premium flag and we have to explicitly make it public. Just another way for us to sort of not accidentally post stuff that we don't want to. And then the status is going to be much the same, which is draft published, but also one that's called processing. And for this one, We'll actually also add a default function of processing, because once it's created in the database, it's still going to be in process on the Bunny side. So once Bunny sends us back that it's finished some processing, then we can just update that. So that in this case, we don't have to manually tell Drizzle that we don't have to manually set that when we create it. So I'm going to make this not null as well. So we have our title, description, thumbnail URL, status, face visibility. Have we missed something? It doesn't look like it. I think that's basically, we might add something like duration in seconds, which is going to be an integer and it's not null. Actually, we can't make the duration in seconds a not null, because in the end, we won't know what this is until the CDN that we're going to use to upload, or the storage place called Bunny. We won't know what the duration is until they've processed the first upload, or the first renderable upload. So we'll leave this as nullable for now, and we could set a default of 0, but I think it's better just to check that that the field is actually null, and then render something else on the screen. So I think that basically covers our basis for our videos table. I think we probably would add to this, and preferably in our development phase, and not deploy this before actually having the final output, so that we don't put stuff in the database and have to basically change some values if in case we add another not null field or something like that. But with that said, let's run this migration locally and basically see if it works. So we do have a little bit of a helper script, I believe. We can generate our migrations with db generate. So we can do bun run db generate. And now we have our migration file. Let's just go inspect it before we run it, just to be sure that it does what we think it does. And all of this looks okay. We have our foreign key, we have our base references and stuff, and I think that should be good for now. One thing I think that we can add so long is just a relation between our users and videos, and that relation isn't on the database level, but just as a bit of a helper when using Drizzle queries, to be able to join tables and do wheres and stuff like that with type safe inference. So we can go to our database schema, and then right at the bottom is where I like to define my relations. So to set up relations, I'm going to start with the users that have a many or a one-to-many relation to videos, and videos have a many-to-one relation to users. So we could say something like export const user relations, and we're going to use the relations function from Drizzle just to see if it's imported. And there you go, it's imported directly from Drizzle ORM. We're going to do the relations on the users table, and this takes a callback function, and this callback function should return an object, but the parameters of this function is either one or many, and in this case many users one user can have many videos. So users have a many relationship to videos. So what we can do is just say videos, and this is the key that will be accessible on your queries if you, for instance, select and join the videos. So it makes sense to put the name as videos, and then we basically just can say that many, what does that reference, and we can just say videos. So in this case, we don't have to, we have to return an object. So in this case, we don't have to specify what the sort of key and everything is, because it knows that one user can have many videos, and it will automatically look at that foreign key. But videos, on the other hand, have exactly this type of structure, but instead of just returning one users, what we'll do is we'll create an object here, The thing about this is it just really actually makes more sense on the admin side of things, like you managing your own videos and uploading, to be able to fetch your videos, because regular users that sign up are not able to upload videos, and we'll write a custom logic for that to check that a user actually has the rights to upload and everything. But in this case, I think these queries are mostly for the ease of use on the admin side of things. But basically we have a few things that we can reference here, and we have to say that this is only a one relation, and then for the first parameter is what are we referencing to. So we're referencing the users table, and then there's a thing called fields, and we only want to use the video.user_id and references the users.id, and this has to be videos and not just video. So that's how you'll set up querying your database with basically attaching videos to the user without having to do, say first fetch your user, then fetch its videos. And this also gives you typing and everything. And we do that basically just by starting our Nitro app. So I can just go back in, or I can just basically run run dev. And then if you remember correctly, we have a Nitro plugin set up that basically runs our migrations when the app starts. So we should be able to see migrations log over here that it ran. Let's give it a few seconds. And there we go, migrations have completed. And once we move to production, I'll basically just run the same, all the migrations with a single command. But we can, for instance, go into our Nuxt DevTools and we can check in the different options. There's a hub database. The icons just, for some reason, always take quite a bit of time to load, but you can click on the hub database. And now if we reload our database, you can see that we have a bunch of we have one user, all our migrations, and we can see that our videos table has been created and it has a reference to a user. So that user would be, you'll be able to actually physically click on this and to see which user that is. And I think even each user now gets like a vanity videos column, which is actually just on the UI side. This isn't on the actual database where there's a videos column, but it's an easy way for you to access which videos this user has. So that really helps out a lot with developer experience, and what a great sort of plugin to the Nuxt DevTools. All right, so that basically concludes setting up the database for our videos. And in the next video, we're going to do a bit of setup work and admin work on the Bunny side. So I'll show you how to set up Bunny, how to create a sort of library where your videos will be uploaded, pull your API keys into your Nuxt config, and set up everything we need so that we can actually start uploading our videos.